Everybody's on their feet, and they all got their money's worth tonight.
You may be wondering what this wooden structure is doing here, and what was its purpose. When was it built, and by whom? These are the remnants of an aerial tramway crossing the rugged Inyo Mountains in California. It was used to transport a valuable mineral, one that we use every day. It wasn't gold, or silver, or copper, or tungsten, or molybdenum. It was used to transport salt. See, the Saline Valley is on the east side of the Inyo Crest and is home to a dry lake in its basin. That dry lake bed is composed of halite, which is the mineral name for table salt. This salt was first recognized and extracted by an Owens Valley farmer back in 1864. The separation of the Owens Valley and the Saline Valley is by the towering elevation of mountains in between. This is the key to this story and why this tram was built. From the Saline Valley up to the mountain crest is a gain of 7,600 feet, that's 2,300 meters, and then another drop of 5,100 feet down to the Owens Valley floor in only 12 miles in a straight line. This would make for a significant challenge to extract the salt from the Saline Valley and be able to transport it to markets and consumers. Some time passed before the first company tried to establish itself in the Saline Valley. It was 1902 when the Con and Trudeau (TRUDO) Borax Company started mining the dry lake bed in Saline Valley. In 1903, the Saline Valley Salt Company was founded by White Smith, a man who drove a horse team for the aforementioned Borax Company. The salt was only mined on a small scale at the beginning. To scale up salt production, a different method of transportation would have to be pioneered, other than the current 2 days of travel by wagon from the Saline to the Owens Valley. It was debated to use a pipeline moving the salt in a liquid brine, but this idea would not allow freight and people to be moved too. A railway was considered, but the mountains were too rugged and building a railway too costly. So the Saline Valley Salt Company chose to build the tram up and over the top. She'll stand for another 100 years. Maybe more. Check out this place, Neves. This is cool. So I'm here at one of the lower tram stations, closer to Owens Lake, and I'm just admiring the size of this structure. The timbers are massive, and they've survived a really long time. I mean, in such a dry climate, they're gonna last super long. This wood will just become petrified. The views are pretty nice from up here. The bright whites of the dry lake in the background, and it's very rugged and steep. It must have been really difficult to construct here, especially without all our modern machinery, all of our modern technology that we take for granted. Construction started in September 1911. The budget was $250,000 to $500,000, approximately $8.5 to $16.5 million today. Work was complicated by the extreme terrain, blasting desert heat, and so it went over budget and took an extra year. This would have taken a lot of manpower. The cost inflated to $750,000, approximately $25.2 million today. I'm sure the work was dangerous and done by some tough men and women assisting them. Some of the cable is still hanging in the structure and dangling to the ground. The old tram cable. There's blue glass and purple glass here. That's pretty cool. Check that out. I think these colors are beautiful. Each of these tram buckets weighed 800 pounds empty and could carry up to 700 pounds of salt when full. One 1.25-inch cable for loaded buckets and one smaller cable to bring empty buckets back. Electric motors powered the tram to a speed of 5.5 miles per hour, and at full capacity, 20 tons of salt moved in an hour. The tram line was not completely straight. There are 2 angle changes along the route. A record amount of cable was required for the 13.5-mile distance. All cable totaled up was over 54 miles. Some workers rode the tram buckets to work if they lived in the Owens Valley. What a ride that would have been. I can imagine the breeze and the view from up there, suspended in space. Exhilarating. Some wouldn't ride on the buckets because of the chance of the grip on the cable failing and the bucket falling off. By the end of 1913, 5,000 tons of salt had been shipped over the tram. In the Owens Valley at Keeler, the salt was then moved by rail on the Southern Pacific Railroad. I'm standing here where the tram buckets would come through attached to the cable, and this is probably a bumper guard. We've got one line of cable going up and one going down on the other side. A lot of timber up here. The salt tram's claim to fame is that some sections above Daisy Canyon on the Saline side reached a steepness of 40 degrees, making it the steepest aerial tram in the USA from 1913 to 1935. The cost of the tram was also its downfall. It changed hands between multiple companies during its 22-year operational lifespan. Multiple bankruptcies ensued. Owens Valley Salt Company followed Saline Valley Salt Company into bankruptcy. After that, it was the Taylor Milling Company, and then Trenton Iron Company. The final attempt at the salt business was made by Sierra Salt Company, who went belly up in 1935. Was this an old room associated with the mining? An old storage room? There's some artifacts lying around here. These remaining towers and trusses are some of the pieces of the tram still standing, weathering the elements and reminding us of this ambitious and determined feat of engineering, all to bring seasoning to our table that makes our food taste better. In 1974, the Saline Valley Salt Tram was added to the National Register of Historic Places. How impressive would it be to witness it fully functional?